Hi, I'm E.D. Lewis, and welcome back to my channel. It's June! We're here, and I have a whole mass of videos, that I have, been, thinking about and preparing for. And so I have five videos. I actually forgot about one of the ones I had, but, anyway. And I'm going to be using my tablet on this video, and it keeps, wanting to connect to internet, and there's no internet to connect to right now. So it's bugging me. But anyway, hi, welcome. It is June. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like on this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that little bell, and also please leave a comment on the video. Those are always fun to read. I love reading comments. Never get enough comments, though. Sad face. Anyway, but let's get on with what the video is about. So, this month and this year marks the 55th anniversary of my favorite television series of all time, Dark Shadows, which I'm sure you already know that because I've mentioned that so many times. So I have a bunch of Dark Shadows reviews this month. I have three. I have three Dark Shadows reviews. We're just going to quickly talk about, just for a moment, what I've got planned this month. So I have three Dark Shadows reviews, a new Dracula review episode, which might be the next video, by the way. It might not be. And I also have a Pride Month review, which, the funny thing is, I was reading it late last month, and I was just like, I figure I'd get done with it really, fairly early this month. I finished it the first day of this month, so. Yeah, so my Pride Month read I already read. Finished on June 1st. Oh well. I want to make sure I had it done so I could do a review at a reasonable time. So that one might actually be the next video. So we'll just see. Anyway, sorry. So my first Dark Shadows review of the month is over a graphic novel I read for Halloween-a-thon. It was I read it for the prompt that was read something about a monster. And, of course, you could take that in any way you wanted, so I took it as a literal, and this has, witch and vampire and stuff in it. So I read, finally, because I had started it, but I had never finished it, but I knew I'd eventually get to it, so I was like, ooh, perfect opportunity. I almost read it last year for Halloween, I think, and I almost put on my TBR for this year as well, but I didn't. So I read, without too much of a glare, there we go, that's better. The brightness is a little iffy. Dark Shadows. It did it. Sorry about that technical difficulties. Dark Shadows Year 1. It is a graphic novel from Dynamite Comics. It was in 6 issues, and it is written by Marc Andreyko. I, of course, have the Kindle edition. I assume there was a hard copy edition, with all the issues in it. They were actually doing a series around the time that the movie Dark Shadows that starred Johnny Depp came out in 2012 that was continuing the original series. Well, let me talk about that. I'll bring the cover back up, and I actually am going to show you something out of the cover. These are my notes, by the way. So, like I already said, it was serialized in Dynamite Comics. They were actually already doing a series, and this one was, talking about the origin of Barnabas and stuff. So I think it was just kind of reintroducing, audiences to it, the comic book audience. So essentially what this is about is it retells the story of Barnabas, how he became the vampire and all that. It tells it in the 1700s, and that's pretty much where we stay, is like 1795. So, it's the typical story that, if you've seen the original series, how he became a vampire, that story. So let me give you a quick little synopsis that I wrote here. So Barnabas Collins awaits the arrival of his fiancée, Josette Dupre, when he makes a mistake that will change his life forever and plunge his family into the grip of darkness for generations to come. See, I thought that was a nice little synopsis that didn't give too much away. I don't know what the synopsis was that they gave, because I don't even think I ever read the synopsis for it. But, yeah, so that just kind of gives you a hint, so. Now, it is based off of the storyline from the 1795 flashback they did in late 1967 and early 1968. The details, however, are changed. They have rewritten the timeline a little bit, so it doesn't match up completely with the original. I will give a few minor spoilers away, but I do highly recommend reading it, though, either way. If you like graphic novels, and you like Dark Shadows, do check it out. So, like, some of the details that change, like, they change how Barnabas and Angelique meet. I mean, in the original show, we never actually knew how they met. We just know that they met on, the island of Martinique, where Josette is from, where she lived. They change how they met. They actually have them meet in Collinsport, and he has no idea who she is, and it's, like, just days before Josette's arrival. So apparently he never met, Angelique, Josette's servant, when he met Josette. So that's kind of interesting. Another little change is everything moves a lot quicker. I mean, it's understandable that it would, since it's only got 6 issues, and, comic books are, one little comic book is not usually very long. So, and there's a lot of plot lines that were used in the show, because it was a soap opera. It was a serial. It went on every single day, 5 days a week, for a half hour. So, I mean, it spanned months, and they, had to compress this into comic book form. But they do make some subtle changes, like, I don't think that Abigail Collins, the one who's obsessed with, such and such obsessed with the devil and stuff, I don't think she lives with the family. I think she lives by herself or off somewhere else, because they indicate her, oh, you've come to visit us today and stuff. The character of Victoria Winters, who was, if you recall from the original series, she was sent back in time from 1967 to 1795 to, witness what happened, to change things, and also to show the audience, Barnabas's origin story. And we get to see, a very different Barnabas from the Barnabas we knew, who was kind of, a little sinister, and he was a lot nicer guy as a human being. Well, Vicky is not sent back in time. She is there, though, but she is not apparently part of the 1967 storyline anymore. She is entirely part of the 1795's storyline. I got the indication that she'd been with Colin's family for quite some time now, not just a matter of, like, days or a few weeks or so. No, I got the feeling that she's been there for quite a long time. She may have been there months, maybe a few years, who knows. And it's known that she has second sight, because they remark on it. And she even has a vision, I think, at some point, or a dream. And she says something about, I've got to warn them, or something like that. And that's, we don't see a whole lot of her. She's just kind of there, and we know that she's the governess. Joshua is also depicted in a much kinder light, especially in regards to Ben Stokes. Ben Stokes can read in this. In the original series, Barnabas was teaching him how to read and write, and he wasn't very good at it. Because he was just learning. Well, in this, he can read, and we assume he can write. I mean, there's people in older times that they could read, but they couldn't necessarily write, though. But I figured that probably Ben probably can write. I don't know, I'm just jumping to conclusions there. So, that's another little change. And also, Joshua Collins is very kind to Ben, which is really strange, because he's terrible to him in the television series until the end of that storyline. So, like I said, there's some changes. And also how Barnabas becomes a vampire. How he gets cursed is completely different than how it happened in the television series. Not to mention the whole curse, not the curse thing, the whole spell worked on Jeremiah and Josette in the original series. There is some changes there, but I'm not going to tell you what they are. And that's a lot shorter lived. So, there's a lot more changes, but that just kind of gives you kind of a rundown of how it differs. The artwork in this was very good. Everybody looks like, the original actors from the television series. I thought that was really, really nice. And, so, you can definitely have that connection to the original show, and you can actually maybe even picture them, saying these lines even, or even hear their voices if you're familiar with the actors. But it was a good overview, as well as kind of a re-intro into Dark Shadows, after so long. And to me, though, it almost seemed like it would work better, since clearly it wouldn't work in the continuity of the show, even though the continuity of the original series was ever-changing, at least slightly. I think it works better as more of an origin story for the Barnabas that we see in the 1970 film House of Dark Shadows, which we never know his origin in that. We just know that when he's talking to Willie in one scene at the old house, that, he mentions that, one time he was human, just like Willie was, and he was engaged to Josette, he became a vampire, and then she committed suicide, and he was chained in his coffin. That's all we know. So we have no idea how he became a vampire. We don't know who cursed him, any of that in that continuity. So I think it would work that way. It's just that the settings don't look right, because Collinwood and the old house look like, from the original series, and not like the Lyndhurst estate and whatever one they used for the old house exteriors. I have no idea what they used for the old house exteriors in the film House of Dark Shadows. I know they used Lyndhurst in Tarrytown, New York, for the exterior, and I think they did film inside the house too. So that was really cool. One more little thing before I show you the cover again, and we close the video. I do want to here's some of the artwork. Like, here's the second issue's cover. Barnabas biting Josette in front of a beautiful stained glass window. We have Barnabas and bats. He's a vampire right there, of course, already. And I know there's too much glare. And now we're going to do that. This might not have been a good idea. Ooh, I actually really like this one. This is from the 4th issue, and that's Barnabas in the coffin. The candles, that's really cool. And the 5th one, this is just completely spooky and gothic. Him looking at Josette through the window. Those eyes, it's just freaky. I don't know if you can see those eyes very well. It's just kind of creepy and chilling. And then we have this one, which I don't know why they show Quentin or the werewolf, because Quentin and, his werewolf self are not in this series. Yeah, I had to tilt it slightly to the side to do less glare. All right, and the first issue cover has the same cover as the graphic novel itself. So, Dark Shadows Year 1 by Marc Andreyko from 2013. So that is it. That is my first Dark Shadows review of this month, so we will do more to celebrate the 55th anniversary of Dark Shadows. So go out there and watch some Dark Shadows, I'm trying to think of what the word is I want to say. Engorge yourself on Dark Shadows, Too much Dark Shadows is never a bad thing, no. You can always never have too much Dark Shadows in your life, I think. Oh, there was one more thing. I completely forgot till it was sliding off. This is the 50th anniversary collection, which came out, 5 years ago. This is not an adaptation of this graphic novel, of course. Ignore that one, because we're not talking about that. It's called Dark Shadows, The Vampire Curse. It's a 3-hour compilation film of the 1700s storyline. So it tells the same story that the graphic novel is, but, of course, it has, it's just edited, the main points of the storyline are edited down into, like, a 3-hour movie, and then you get to see Barnabas when he's released from his coffin by Willie at the end. It's kind of like a nice little companion. It's not, like I said, an adaptation of the graphic novel, and the graphic novel is more or less, kind of an adaptation of it and a retelling. So, kind of like a reboot in some ways. But anyway, that's it. I had forgotten about that one little thought. So, you know, this is a nice little set to get, you know, so you get some best of stuff. Well, I will see you next time for another review. I think next time it'll be like this weekend. Well, not this weekend, but, well, no, it won't be the weekend at all. I'm looking over the calendar. I'm thinking it'll be sometime at the start of next week. I'm not sure what day yet. So I'm thinking maybe Monday or Tuesday, because I didn't know how to space out 5, reviews during this month, and one of the reviews I wanted to do on the 27th, which is a Sunday, so I think I'll mostly do them on Sundays. Sorry about that. So I'm pushing the bench in front of me, or stool, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, this video is already a little longer than I intended, so I am planning it to be mostly on Sundays. This Sunday we will not have a video. It'll be more like Monday or Tuesday, I think, and then after that I'm going to try for Sundays for the rest of the month. So that is the first of my 3 Dark Shadows reviews for the 55th anniversary. For the month of June, that is. I am planning another Dark Shadows review that's not this month. That's toward the ending of next month or the start of August. And we'll talk more about that later. And that'll be a 50th anniversary video. So I'll see you next time right here on ED Lewis Reviews. Bye-bye.